All right, welcome. Welcome to probably one of the most insane videos that you're ever going to see. In this video specifically, I'm going to summarize my entire, almost three years long journey of how I became a setter, what even appointment setting is in the first place, and most importantly, how to make money with it. So, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it's definitely gonna be a few hours long because there are so many things that we need to cover, from just talking about what the hell online sales even is, to what appointment setting is and why does it stand out from all the other online sales roles, to then choosing the right niche, to then getting these replies, getting messages sent out, how to find people, how to create the message, and most importantly, how to converse with prospects. And then at the end, there's like one juicy sauce that I still haven't covered, but we're gonna be doing it as we go along, talking about interviews, how to actually apply for the job, how to satisfy the needs of your prospect, and most importantly, how to actually get the job done so you can make your first money. Because essentially, what I'm gonna talk about is how to make, I'd say, at least 5K a month with appointment setting. Recently, my video started going viral, and there are tons and tons of people who are constantly asking me, what's appointment setting? What does that mean? What niche are you supposed to target? Endless amount of questions. And I just thought, all right, let me break it all down to you step by step and just send it to all those people. Because honestly, there's no point in me replying to thousands and thousands of convos because at the end of the day, I physically don't have that much time. But to begin with, I want to talk about first and foremost what online sales even is. So, what's online sales? Online sales is literally like any other sales industry that you've maybe heard of, phone setting, all these tele operators that are constantly calling us to try and pitch us some services, door-to-door sales, that's essentially the same thing. Just the procedure of selling something to someone or providing something to someone, your services in exchange for money. But this time we're doing it in the online space, which covers social media channels, of course, whether that's, I don't know, IG. Actually, let me change the color real quick. Whether that's just IG, Facebook, it can be LinkedIn, right? It can be even Telegram. I've seen some crypto forex guys selling their stuff on Telegram, but essentially it's being done in the online space. And now when it comes to the online sales itself, we have two different roles that you can take. I mean, there are multiple other roles, but I don't want to overwhelm you, especially if you're a beginner who doesn't kind of comprehend what am I even going to talk about. So I just want to simplify it as much as possible. Two most important roles that you need to understand are appointment setting and closing. Now, obviously, I'm all about appointment setting, but I would never be successful appointment setter if I didn't have a good closer on my end too, because appointment setter is meant to convert cold leads into warm ones and book them in for a call. They need to be warm enough so they can actually hop on a call and then get closed by a closer, or even by you if you want to dive deeper into that. Because I mean, there's a belief in this online sales space where people think that appointment setting is the first step before you move on to closing. Everyone thinks like, okay, I need to start with appointment setting first and then move on to closing, which is honestly not true because I'm gonna dive deeper into that later down the line. But just overall, closing is, in my opinion, like a modern day 9 to 5. Because imagine closing 8, 9, 10 calls per day, sitting there, and every call is an hour long, you know? So 10 hours a day sitting in your office, repeating the same scripts and frameworks over and over again, and not even selling for yourself, but for someone else, because, like I've said, you are having that online sales role under your belt. I don't think that's kind of, I'd say, up to my standards. I like to just set the appointments from my phone. And that's the whole point, because I want to talk about why is online sales even important? How every successful business operates? What does high ticket mean? What even are the tickets? What's the front end? What's the back end side of the business? What are all those things? Those are some of the questions that I'm going to be covering in this first part of the video, because it's extremely important for you to understand why would someone even need a worker hired as an appointment setter or as a closer. So, how every successful business operates? They operate based on obviously delivering the results to their clients, right? Because the more results they deliver, the more results, it means more cash, of course. Because, if you're a successful guy at delivering the results, changing someone's lives, let's say in the fitness space, if you're a guy known for changing each and every single one of these people's lives, then someone is rather gonna pay to you rather than to someone else who's just a starter. And the main point is, the main question that we all need to kind of think about is who is actually behind all those operations? Who is actually behind it? When it comes to those operations, we have front end side of the business, which equals all the things that you see on the social media since we are doing everything online. I'm talking about content, posts, even delivery, because all these delivered results are actively being posted online so other people can see it and so they can kind of I'd say I like to call it attract eyeballs, because all these business owners like to attract eyeballs to their social media. In this case, let's say Instagram, or I don't know, Facebook. They attract eyeballs, and that's why I consider it a front end side of the business, because you can see it. The first thing you encounter from that business is those things, and then the operation behind the scenes, the back end side of things, some things that you can't see, are appointment setting and closing, converting all those leads and prospects, those interested ones, into leads that can actually pay you money. Because by the definition of Alex Hormozi, in case you don't know who that is, that's genuinely the GOAT in this entire info space. Lead is someone that you can contact at any point in time to sell them your services, to sell them whatever you have. So even if you have a list of contacts, your friends in your phone, and let's say you start a coaching program, you can call them all, and that's your lead list, right? People that you can just contact however you want. You can just, I don't know, give them a call, you can reach out to them, you can do whatever. That's a lead. And you can actively convert him into a sale. And then as you provide results, you can actually ask for money in return, because I would honestly pay you 5K if you can promise me that I'll make 20K per month. And that's how the online sales works. You exchange your knowledge slash services for money, right? And what are the tickets? I just want to kind of familiarize you with this entire vocabulary. What are the tickets? The ticket is the size of pretty much the cost of your services, let's say. High ticket appointment setting and high ticket closing, which are kind of the, I don't know, the words that we include in the names itself, means that we're dealing with prices that are 2K and above, like you can see here. It means that the prices are 2K and above. And the reason you want to be involved in the high ticket space is purely because everything is commission based in this entire space, especially when you're getting started. You are gonna be making money off of the commissions. So the more you sell, the more you make. And let's say market standard nowadays is, I don't know, I'd say maybe 7 to 10%. Every sale that you directly contribute to, you get your piece of the pie, which, if it's high ticket, it kind of gets juicy, because most of the businesses nowadays charge even more. They charge super high ticket, like 7, 8K, and 10% off of that is, do the math, 800 per every deal. And these businesses are actually closing, I don't know, 7, 10 deals per every single month. So you see how much money can actually be made there. And now, the question, why would someone actually hire those? They would hire because all these things, such as setting the appointments in this example right here, or closing in this example right here, are considered low leverage activities. Now, what does low leverage mean? It means that a business owner who is making 30, 40, 50, or even more $1,000 a month, they don't have time to spend 8, 9, 10 hours a day endlessly talking with people on their IG, just exchanging messages back and forth. So they would rather delegate it to save their brain power, their mental space, that they can then directly, I'd say, orientate towards content, making posts, delivering the results, and by doing so expanding their business even more, because the more content they post, the more posts they make, the more testimonials they upload on their social media, the more results they deliver, more eyeballs they attract, and automatically more prospects for appointment setters and closers to handle. Do you get me? Hope that makes sense. And then it's on appointment setter to convert all those leads, whether those are cold or warm, into booked calls where the closer or the business owner himself is going to convert them in cash, because you can see how I kind of illustrated it here. Warm person is someone who is actually gonna be willing to hop on a call with you, because if not, why would they hop on a call with a stranger? And it's on you as an appointment setter, since that's what I'm preaching, that's what I'm all about, setting, and only setting. You as a setter need to make sure that the prospect is qualified and interested to hop on a call. You know, but that's just a slight introduction about what online sales is, because I just for the last thing to touch base on with this first part of the video is, why is this important? Because I always think about this loop. This is something that I myself have created. I know it's kind of messy, but you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So it all starts with this part right here. You see, number one, client delivery. You deliver the results. That's why I said, let's say you start your coaching program. If I was you, I would not charge. I would try to get my friends involved, then help them out for free. Get those testimonials, which is number two right here, success stories. In other words, I would then post them on my social pages, where I would once again attract the eyeballs that at the very beginning I would be able to convert, because I wouldn't have setters, because why would a setter be involved in a business where there's not high earning potential? But you'll get the points later. I would post it on my social pages, then my new prospects would see the results that I can provide, and then a setter in this example would nurture them through other pieces of content that are constantly being posted, and obviously through messaging in the inbox channel, right? And those prospects would then like to get involved, because why? They want the exact same results. And guess what? When you acquire a new client at the end of this loop, you get to the first part, which is again deliver. And then the same thing happens. From delivery, you gather testimonials, then you post them, then other prospects seeing the results, then you nurture those prospects too, you get them involved as well, and then you're just having that active loop constantly while your business is making money. And then you as a setter just print, because you have a never-ending flow of leads. And now the main question here in this first part of the video is, why is sales, in this example, online sales, number one thing that you could just find yourself doing? Simply because all you need is a Wi-Fi and your phone to make money. That's literally all you need. Wi-Fi and phone. You can work from a beach. You can go ski in some random, I don't know, Swiss mountains. You can still work. You can still just type the messages, deal with prospects, book them in for a call. And the reason why appointment setting specifically is my way to go, you'll see it in the second part of the video, is simply because you don't need to be in the quiet environment, I'd say, because as a closer you need to be in a quiet environment where you can talk, listen to the prospect, and when there's no background noise. And the second reason why sales, online sales, is the king, is simply due to the fact that literally for our entire humanity there were some sales operations involved. Even if you want to, I don't know, in medieval times, exchange your weapon for an armor, whatever, just a silly example, exchange a piece of bread for a fruit, you would always exchange something for something else, and you need to present the value of the thing that you're exchanging so you can get the uh, equal thing back, right? You always need to sell, because when you know how to sell something, you'll never struggle to make money ever again. Genuinely, you can sell fucking toothpicks. Go in the forest and just start chipping off the parts of the wood and sell them as toothpicks. If you're skilled enough, you'll be able to do so and you'll be able to make money. I know, just a silly example, but you get the point. And now, appointment setting, something that I do, something that a lot of people have asked me about. What the hell is that specifically? So, like I've said earlier, appointment setter is someone who is supposed to convert leads into interested people interested for those services where they would get closed on that closing call. And appointment setter job is pretty self-explanatory. It literally means set the appointment, set the appointment, the closing call, in other words. And appointment setter is someone. Now, this is the thing. We divide appointment setting into two different roles, into two different categories. First one is outbound, you see, and the second one is inbound. You see these emojis that I here put, this like cold and warm. I think the names as well are pretty self-explanatory. Outbound means that you're doing something out, like from the very center, let's say you're reaching out to people. You're doing it out there. You're reaching out to people who, let's say, don't know you, don't like you, don't trust you. You're doing that as an outbound appointment setter. On the other hand, as an inbound appointment setter, this right here is you, let's say, people are coming in your DMs. They are the warm ones, because the reason they even decided to reach out to you is there. Now, if you didn't know someone, you would probably never reach out to them, right? If you didn't want to, I'd say, learn more about them. And with that being said, as opposed to the outbound part where they don't know you, don't like you, don't trust you, here they do know you and they kinda like you because otherwise they wouldn't want to even engage with you. And then on you as an appointment setter, your role, your job is to make them trust you too so they can actually hop on a call with a random stranger that they've never met in real life. You get me? That's on you. You, as an appointment setter, as an inbound one, need to convert these inbound leads. Because this is one pro tip for you, something even more advanced that I want to kind of tell you before we even expand on it. Inbound leads cost, whether that's, the time investment that your client is putting, whether that's money investment because they're maybe paying for paid advertisement, maybe they're investing into ads, investing into content, whatever. Inbound leads cost, and it's extremely important for you to convert all those because you don't want for your client to make money, to lose money, sorry, because you as a setter are meant to do the job that's gonna bring more money to the business. Now imagine you not making any money. It's not that you're not only making money to the client, but it's literally you losing him money because you're not, making his investments profitable. So you need to make sure that that ROI, which stands for return on investment, is actually there. You want for it to make sense. And then those are pretty much the different sides of appointment setting. When it comes to the outbound, we have subcategories that we need to kind of expand on as well, just so you can have a bit more idea. Outbound, there's a cold outbound and there's a warm outbound. I'm gonna explain what does that mean. Cold outbound is you literally sending openers, starting the conversations, because opener literally stands for conversation starters. You can pause the video and write it all down if you want. I mean, it would be great for you to do so, to be fair, because opener means that you are opening the conversation. You're starting the conversation with someone, once again, who doesn't know you, doesn't like you, doesn't trust you. Do you get me? That's what cold outbound appointment setter does. What warm outbound appointment setter does is he's also outreaching to people, but he's not outreaching to people who are, in this situation right here. They don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you. They reach out to people who are mildly warm, I'd say, because they maybe follow you on on your social pages that you're working on. They maybe liked your stuff, they maybe commented on your stuff. So they somehow engaged with you already, and now you're gonna convert that engagement into an entire conversational process that's happening in the DMs. Once again, whether you're doing it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, I don't know, whatever, Telegram, whatever you can think of. That's the difference between cold outbound appointment setter and warm outbound appointment setter. You see how I put these two emojis, like it is cold, but it's still warm, kinda, cold, hot, a mixture of it. Why? Because they've initially engaged. They are the first one who engaged in any sorts of relationship, I'd say. Any sort of, like, I don't know, conversation even maybe. But the thing is, yeah, what is it I explained? What is it that appointment setter is actually supposed to do? Convert these cold leads and uninterested ones into uninterested, apologies, convert them into the interested ones who are actually going to be down to hop on a call and potentially get close because, like I've said, interested. Like I've said, you are supposed to sell them the idea, qualify them, and then book them in, generate their interest. Like I said, why is it important? It's important because, yeah, like you need to save up the brain power of your client. It's remote, it's online, digital, whatever. It's so important for a business to have the team behind his back that's gonna be operating with this backend side of system, backend side of business that you probably remember covered like 10 minutes ago. He must have a team behind him that's constantly going to be providing him with booked calls with people because that's literally his main source of income. With no calls, there's no money for him to be made simply because who can he sell it to, right? I'm sure that you will never pay just randomly. Someone sends you a payment link and then you pay, right? Doesn't work that way. You need to meet the person first. And you as a setter need to make sure that you represent the brand because as an appointment setter, you're directly logged into your client's pages. You're logged in. And from there, the prospects, people who are interested, leads slash prospect, just to have a better understanding as well, because these are different names for the same thing. Your leads slash prospects will not know that they are speaking with a setter. They'll think they're speaking with an actual business owner, because if you reach out to me on IG, it is going to be me. But what if the setter is inside? What if another person is logged in? You will not know that I'm the one talking with you. That I'm the one not talking with you, sorry. You see? And that person, appointment setter, is responsible to do this, I'd say, chronological process, which begins with DMing, gets to qualifying and generating the interest, to then booking them in for a call where I, as a closer, will sell my services. That's the whole point. And that's how I make money. When I close the deal, I pay my setter 10, 15%, whatever we agreed on. You get me? And why is it so different? Why is it only going to grow? That's the crucial thing. The reason why is it only going to grow is because there are tons and tons of new businesses coming in, right? We all know that we all want to be business owners at some point. We all want to uh, live that nice CEO type of lifestyle. We all want that because otherwise we'll just be working in a 9 to 5 for the rest of our lives. And as these businesses are constantly being founded and introduced in the space, guess what? People will need setters because, like I've said, it just gets overwhelming at some point. Because how will then they be able to focus on delivering the results to their clients if they, are supposed to handle hundreds and hundreds of prospects every single day? It doesn't work that way. Because when I was only a setter, now I'm an agency owner too. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about later. When I was just a setter, I was handling hundreds and hundreds of leads because my client at the time went viral with like 3.5 million views. And I, at one point, started handling 500 or 600 people every single day. So I had to sit there for 10, 12, 14 hours. You don't have to do that, of course, because this is a side hustle. I instantly decided to go all in. You can do it in like 2, 3 hours a day with a proper client, and still make 3 to 5K a month. But the point is that imagine how would my client's business look like if he didn't have me? It probably wouldn't look like anything because who the fuck would actually handle these people? No one. I was there, and I was handling his quality and quantity. But you'll see exactly what I'm going to talk about because quality is in this case something that will pay you, because you don't want to be booking these random people. That's also another role that setter is supposed to fill. You know, if you have hundreds of leads, you need to filter them out and book only the highest quality ones over for a call because otherwise you could just be booking random, I don't know, third world country guys who are not able to afford the services, right? And what does that get you? Nothing, because you can't make money. You make money with quality. And that's why it's so important for you to dive deep in this game while it's still unsaturated. Unlike trading, unlike drop shipping and all these other shitty side hustles, This is something that is fully performance based. The more you work, the more you learn, the more you make. You'll also see that later down the line throughout this video. But the thing is that the main reason why is it only going to grow is simply because with each day there are more and more businesses who are getting started and who will eventually need setters, and then we get to the point where you'll realize that there is a huge supply and demand issue right now in the market. There are actually more businesses needing good setters than there are actual good setters out there, genuinely. And why is that? Because right now there's a huge skill gap in the market as well. When I say skill gap, it means that there are either extremely terrible setters or the best ones. There are no like average setters. Honestly, there's no such thing. I don't know why is that, but it just is. So, these top 1% of setters are honestly being needed so fucking much. And how to actually become top 1% setters? By learning, by constantly implementing this, what I call student's mentality. You constantly need to learn because learning curve never goes linear. It always goes exponential. And as it's growing, you see this gap right here. It just gets bigger, bigger, and bigger. Why? Simply because all these other people are not willing to learn. They're just fine with being bad, you know? And the thing is that it's such a huge opportunity simply because no one else in this world is determining your income but yourself. Purely performance based, purely skill based, and obviously the more of hard work that you put into it, the better you get, the more you make. No one can stop you. Imagine you have to pay the rent, and now you're waiting for your paycheck, which is, I don't know, on the first of every month. Instead of that, you can wake up and be like, oh shit, I gotta pay my rent. Let me work. Let me just send some messages real quick and book few calls, get few closes in, and let me get my client pay me so I can actually pay the rent. That's how it is. That's genuinely how it is. You wake up with the purpose every single day to make more money, you know? And what's even more beautiful about it all is that it can't be replaced by AI. It's also recession proof because since we're dealing with high ticket deals that, like I've said earlier, are priced at like 2 or 3K and even more, the inflation can't affect it because you're constantly making more and more and more, the prices go up as well. So it's recession proof. But why is it AI proof as well? Simply because when you're dealing with prospects, you need to show certain level of empathy. That's extremely important. I'm gonna dive deeper into that later down the line, but I just want to kind of touch base on this empathy because no one would pay to a random robot without any emotions. People that you would be targeting are the ones with problems. So you as a setter also need to be a psychiatrist almost. Listen to them, show empathy, show understanding, and book them in for a call because at the end of the day, no one's gonna pay you 3, 4, 5K if you're just a guy who is looking to make money only. No, they need to feel like they're being understood and that they're paying you in exchange for help with their solutions, you know? And with 2 hours a day, maybe 3 hours a day, I actually met so many people who were at one point making 3 to 5K a month. And then with 4 hours a day, you can make even more. With 6 hours a day, you can make more. Why? Because it's purely performance based. And the reason why I mentioned earlier it's so different is simply because you can just do it from wherever you want. When I was in Thailand, I was making money. When I was in London, by the way, I'm from Croatia, in case you don't know yet. When I was in London, I was making money. When I was in Nottingham, I was still making money. When I was in Manchester, in Lake District, I was still making money. When I was, I don't know, well, I'm going to Prague next week. Guess what? I'm still gonna make money because nothing is actually keeping me attached to my office. And essentially, that's why it's different. That's why it's different. That's what the whole point of appointment setting is. Make money by sending messages. No matter how unrealistic that might sound, it genuinely is like that. Because 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, when I got started, I was like, what the fuck appointment setting even is? And I had to genuinely put my brain power to comprehend it. I sold my PS5 to invest in my first ever program, and here I am today, just showing you the path that I've paid for myself, so you don't have to go through the same uh, extremely thorny and extremely hard path that I went through as well for the last 3 years. This is just the path that's been paved, and all you need to do is follow it. Now, the big boy question: how to choose the niche, who to work for. You know, how to get yourself in a position where someone will even feel like they need you. Now, I know at first this might seem extremely complicated, might sound super autistic as well, but you know, that's just how I am. I think that these sorts of things is what makes me stand out because I never half-heart shit, and I always like to dive deep in so much details just so you can understand. Because what even is the niche and how to get yourself in one of those? The niche is, you can also write it down if you want. The niche is like an industry where you want to find yourself in. There are multiple different niches. E-com, or in other words, drop shipping, theme pages, fitness coaches, business agencies, course creators, all these things that I mentioned here. And I like to separate them in two different categories: green flag ones and red flag ones. Now I'm going to explain how to determine which one is which. Because at the end of the day, you want to be working with people that can actually make you profitable, because you don't want to put your time and effort into people that are never going to make you money. That's exactly why we target only high ticket businesses, right? That's exactly why we target only high ticket businesses, because that's where most of the money is to be made. Now, like I've said, red flags and green flags. Red flag businesses are the ones that I consider just with a dead end. They are the worst ones. When on the other hand, high leverage ones are the ones where you can actually make money because they are having a constant lead flow, constant sales are being made, the team is on point both mentally and physically. I don't know, but you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So to begin with, the worst ones: e-commerce. Those are the online stores such as dropshipping. Now imagine setting the appointments for someone who sells random shitty Chinese product for 20 bucks. No money to be made, because what the fuck is even your commission? 10%, $2 per sale. How many sales would you need to make 2k? Insane, insane. Literally 1,000 sales a month. And at the end of the day, you never want to be working with people who are not taking calls, because if there is no calls to be taken, I mean, think about it. No calls slash no sets, let's say. What is it that you can even set? You know, no calls equals no job, because your job is to set the call. And if they don't take calls, what is it for you to set there, right? E-com, drop shipping stores, they do not set appointments. And even if they do, which would be kind of nonsense, I would never take a call for a Chinese $20 product. Why why would you work there, right? Why would you work there with such a low ticket thing, with such a non-lucrative thing, you know? Another thing that you should look for are team pages. You know, all these team pages across Instagram that are selling their promotions. Let's say you find a team page that you follow, some gym, random gym content, and then they sell promotions for like 200 bucks. Still low ticket, you know? Those two things are low ticket. And why would you even be working with someone like that? And also, for some reason, third world country people prefer team pages, so you don't want to be dealing with people that are not able to afford. I'm talking about economically not being able to afford, because imagine you propose a price point to a random third world country guy, like, all right, this is $2,000. That's like millions for him, because the currency is just weak. So you don't want to be doing any business with them. Simply because if you're gonna put your time and effort into something like that, that's super hard, why wouldn't you rather put that time and effort towards something that's actually going to pay you? I know it might be a bit selfish, but who cares? Being a bit selfish is what got me to the position where I'm at today. I had to turn down so many people because I was thinking about myself more than I was thinking about them. And it's just the law of the game. Another sort of people that you don't want to be working with are new coaches and agencies, new ones in the market. Like I've said earlier, the reason this entire opportunity is so good and why is it only going to grow is because there are constant flow of new businesses coming in the space. And you don't want to find yourself working in the brand new coach and agency simply because, first, they've got no traffic. Why do they have no traffic? Because they have no testimonials, so there's nothing that new prospects can kind of be attracted to. You remember that loop I talked about? It's actually right. Wait, where the hell is it? Okay, it's right here, the one that I talked about earlier. That loop is kind of not active because they're not having enough testimonials, and then their lead flow is dry, And yeah, you can do cold outbound, but what is it that you can even promise to someone that doesn't know you, doesn't like you, doesn't trust you? You can't kind of promise them anything because yeah, they don't have any proof that they're actually doing a good work. And those are some of the things that you definitely want to avoid because, like I said earlier, if you are planning on putting such a good amount of time and effort towards those, why not rather put them towards someone who is actually high leverage. And my top four, this is by the way not backed by science, but my personal top four are the niches that go with coaches, of course, high ticket. All of these are supposed to be high ticket. Remember, 2K and above, 2K and above. But coaches, consultants, agencies, and course creators. Those are, let's say, the types of people you want to be working with that are actually high leverage. Now, of course, as always, there are subcategories too. Fitness ones and fitness coaches, my least favorite to be fair, but there are genuinely some great fitness coaches out there. Business coaches, uh, I don't know, sales, SH coaches. I generally forgot what the hell was that. But say, oh yeah, sales coaches that deal with high ticket. You see that I marked it here. Sales coaches, the ones that coach other people how to become a closer, how to become a setter. Those are the good ones. And those are the type of coaches that you can be targeting because all these are promising genuine life-changing results. Let's say with a fitness coach. Fitness coach is someone who helps you lose, I don't know, 30 pounds and live a healthier life so you don't die of a heart disease. You see, if I told you 3K, pay me that, and I'm gonna help you save your life so your children can see you uh, be there with them while they're growing up, 3K, I mean, sounds fine with me. Business coach, on the other hand, let's say I'm making 20K a month and someone is making 5 and I tell them, bro, pay me 3K and I'm gonna help you learn how to make 20K the same way I am making. So for 3K he's learning the system that will help him make 20. It's a no-brainer. So yeah, absolutely work with them. Sales coaches too. Let's say I help you, I don't know, leave your 9 to 5 with appointment setting. You pay me 2K and then I'll teach you how to make 5K every single month with appointment setting or closing. No brainer if you ask me. And that's when it comes to coaches. They do run their coaching programs that you can be selling people onto, the interested ones, right? Consultants. Consultants, I consider them coaches as well, but they are not having an active program that they are actually running in a way where there's no course modules. They do it either done with you see, DIY, they do it with you every single day, they hop on a call with you, they guide you, or they do it for you. They do it for you. They then provide you with some things, and then they maybe once a week have a call with you so they can see how you're getting on, right? When it comes to agencies that you can be working with, those are these good old sales agencies, marketing agencies, people who are supposed to raise the brand awareness, raise the awareness of a certain brand that they're collaborating with. They are the ones who, on your behalf, run paid ads, help you tailor your log form content that your client then posts on YouTube, that's like 10 minutes long or more, short form content, TikTok, Instagram, all these reels that you're seeing, those are all the agencies that you can be working with. Those are considered marketing agencies. So the same way we have a subcategory of a coach, which is fitness, business, sales coach, we have a subcategory of a marketing agency. Those would be advertising agencies, paid ads, short form agencies, content in general, you know, and I'd say that these are the most lucrative ones that you can simply be dealing with. I'm not sure why the fuck did I actually write this one down, but it's not important. And then the fourth one are course creators. You see all these terrible businesses right here. Let's say they want to expand and get a bit more profitable. They want to, let's say, this new coach wants to create a proper course so he can sell it more. Then he would invest into a course creator who is going to set up a platform, let's say for them called School, and then they can run a program on it, and you as a course creator or your client as a course creator can also charge 3 4K, you know and those are the good businesses that you want to be working with, because I always think about this golden triangle right here and how to determine if the business you are about to partner with is good or not. This is how I think about it. Golden triangle. First part of that golden triangle is checking if they have daily leads. Or even like a subcategory of that would be if they have a proper personal brand. Because without a proper personal brand, such as Instagram page that needs to be looking good, you know, all these good looking posts, all these good testimonials that I've covered earlier, and that loop being activated by attracting eyeballs, without having a proper personal brand, you will not have a daily amount of leads, no lead flow. So that's the first part of the golden triangle. Second part is to see if they're charging high ticket. You just need to see if they're charging high ticket. Once again, 2K or above. And the third thing that you want to check is if they have a good closing rate. Now, what's a closing rate? Closing rate is literally the ratio of people that they manage to close. How many people do they close out of how many calls? Let's say you as a setter book them 10 calls and then they close only one, which is terrible. That's only like 10%, you know, 10%. Absolutely terrible, because what the fuck are you supposed to do with these 9 other leads? Money wasted, you know. So you definitely don't want to be working with such a person, because since you're commission based, you'll not make money if they don't close the deal. On the other hand, if you're working with a business that's having a good closing rate, such as let's say 40%, which I still consider kinda not so good, but on the worst case scenario, let's say you book 10 people, he closes 4 deals, you know, you're making 4 times more money, especially if it's a high ticket one when you combine it all. Let's say the guy closes 4 deals for 2.5k. That's 10k in total. And you on 10%, guess how much you made? You made 1k a month. You know, only from 4 deals. But with a terrible business that doesn't know how to close the doors, even let alone a juicy deal, then you made what? 10% of 2.5k, that's like 250. And you're left with nothing. Why? Because then your return on time investment is absolutely terrible. You wasted so much time for someone else, in this case a closer, to waste it all for you, you know, because you didn't get anything in return essentially. But the thing is that you always want to be involved in a good business, because good business equals you working there long term. And after you work there for long term, after you kind of prove yourself, you can get a promotion. You can, I don't know, this is how a promotion looks like, by the way. When you get a promotion, you make even more money. This is how my journey essentially looked like. When I was just a setter that was placed in a good business, I was working there long term, and then I just got placed as a sales team manager, the person who is managing other sales team members. And of course, as a guy who is managing other sales team members, since I have, you know, a bit more, not a bit, but a lot more, a much more important role, I make even more money, you know. And not only that, but when you provide good results, your your results get spread out, word of the mouth, you know, just starts, they start talking about you. Oh shit, Chris guy is doing a great job. Let me recommend him to my friend. And guess what? You're building that network. And now people know you because you are the guy who is known as the GOAT in this appointment setting space. That's how you build a name for yourself. You know? That's genuinely how to build a name for yourself. And then, when you're, let's say, looking for these businesses on social media, on Instagram, what you need to make sure that they kind of tick off are these things. How to tell if business is good. You need to see if they have a clean looking profile picture, you know, if they have content posted that's actively being posted, because you don't want to be working with a dead dry business. You need to see if they have story highlights with a bit more about their life, how they're living, are they traveling, you know, are they a boring person, are they fat, going gym, whatever. And story highlights with testimonials, because once again, that's what attracts those eyeballs I mentioned few times, right? That's how you know if their profile is looking good. Not profile, but a personal brand. Remember what I mentioned here. Personal brand. It needs to look clean, crisp, juicy, you know, like they're actually successful and not some random geek out there. Fourth thing you need to look for is bio. Are they mentioning what they're doing in their bio? Do they have a call to action, like DM me the word setter and I'm gonna help you understand how to make money with appointment setting? Do they have any like results generated? What I have in my bio is over 1 million pounds added to my businesses. That's a good looking bio. And fifth, you know, last but not least, is engagement. Have they bought their followers? Have they bought their likes? Have they bought their comments? You don't want for their personal brand to be filled with bots, because then who the fuck can you even convert to a booked call? No one. There's no real people in that page, right? And you want to be looking for those five things before you even reach out to them, you know? Because even though they say don't judge a book by its cover, still you kind of need to do it, because why would you waste your time with even talking with such a person? And now when we covered the basics, I hope I covered the basics, we get onto another thing, which is of course getting started, finding the accounts, how to find these accounts, how to get a reply, and how to actually converse with them. That's something that we're going to cover in the third stage. When it comes to getting started, you gotta understand how to find accounts first. How to find these accounts that I just talked about, with a good looking profile picture, professional one, good amount of content that's actively being posted, story highlights actively being updated too, good looking bio, people engaging with them, following, liking, commenting. How to find those people. This is exactly how. So you first gotta understand how the networking space works. You gotta understand that network is your net worth. I call it 5-star network method. You should always just find a gold mine first by typing a keyword in the search bar. You always start with the search bar on Instagram. I'm I'd say a master at finding these accounts on Instagram, so I'm just gonna talk about that. You go into Instagram, you go in search bar, you just go in that search bar and you type in some of the keywords, which can be, depending on which depend on the niche that you want to be targeting, whether that's a coach, whether that's, I don't know, agency, business in general. You can type that into, who knows, business. You can type in personal. Oh fuck, let me reconnect real quick. Reconnecting. Okay, you can type in uh personal, I don't know, personal brand, people who helps you build your personal brand. You can type in fitness if you're maybe more about that than brand itself. You can type in marketing. There are so many keywords that you can think of. Honestly, just think outside the box, I'd say. And most important thing is, oh shit, yeah, real estate as well. Maybe you want to be involved with someone selling real estate for fucking hundreds of thousands, because the higher the price, real, what the fuck am I writing? The real estate, the higher the price, the more money to be made for you. And when you find a person that kind of fits your criteria, you then dive in the 5-star network method that I'm just gonna explain now. When you find such a person, I consider them a gold mine, a fucking gold mine, because, like I've said earlier, network is your network, and you gotta understand that everyone follows everyone in this online space. This is how I imagine it. You find one person right here, then the next thing you know, he follows another person. Then the next thing you know, second person follows third person. Third person follows fourth, and fourth person knows the first person that you maybe started your entire journey from. And it never ends. Everyone knows everyone, especially if they are, providing good results. Like I've said earlier, word of the mouth just spreads out. It's so easy to find yourself in a good network if you know how to provide these results. And like I said, network is your network. We all want to be surrounded with people that are like-minded, that are aligned with us, that fully resonate with us, and that are just our ICP, which stands for Ideal Client Profile. You gotta understand one thing. Fitness coaches follow 90% of fitness coaches. Business coaches follow 90% of business coaches. Since I'm a business coach myself, you'll see me follow on my Instagram 90% of either appointment setters, closers, or other business owners, because I'm in that niche. Marketing agencies will follow 90% of other marketing agencies. And that goes the same for every single of these other ones. Let's say real estate follows real estate, Airbnb follows Airbnb, paid advertisement agencies follow paid advertisement agencies too. And that's not the thing. That's not the only thing. That's not the end of it. The thing is that we all know that algorithm is a weird thing. When you engage with plenty of fitness coaches, your For You page gets filled with fitness content. And that's exactly how it works. You want to train your algorithm to start showing it the right niche that you want to be targeting, whether that's fitness, business, agency, marketing one, I don't know, social media content, whatever. You want to train your algorithm. You want to engage with as many people as you possibly can. And when you reach out to them, when you drop them a follow, when you like their stuff, comment on that stuff, you'll start seeing even more people. And then it gets juicy, because when you find that one gold mine that you can reach out to, you reach out to that person, and then you start your journey. You go through their followers first. You see that the person is being followed by 3,000 people, maybe. Guess what? All those 3,000 people are the people who are in the similar niche, because they are their ICP, and you can go through them. A lead list, a new lead list of at least 3,000 people. Of course, maybe not every single one of them is going to be of your interest, but the majority of those are going to be. And that's the beauty of this five-star network method, because everyone follows everyone. When you go through his followers, you can go onto his following, which are the people he follows. You can see me on my Instagram following maybe 300 people, and every single one of those are the ones that I look up to. Other business owners who are making more money than me, other setters who are maybe better than me, other marketing agency owners who are maybe the ones that have sick ideas, so I can dive deeper into marketing myself more, raise my brand a bit more, raise the awareness of it. I follow people who are of my interest, and all these people that you find yourself reaching out to are the ones who follow other ones that are of their interest, and you can use it in your favor. You can extract, you can literally extract. Then the third thing you want is go in their engagement, so all the likes and comments, because the content that I'm posting on my Instagram is showing up to people that are interested in my stuff. Therefore, if you're interested in similar stuff as I am, you can go out there and reach out to them. Let's say you find a business coach who is helping other business owners make 50K a month, meaning that the business owner you initially reached out to is already making 50K a month. You can go into his engagement and find people who like and engage with their stuff, because they want to be making 50K a month, and you can be, as a setter, you can be the one who helped them get there, right? Because they are the ones planning on scaling, and you want to be there early because you want to be there long term, get the promotion, all the other things we talked about. And then in the top right corner, which is the fourth method of extracting all these people with my five-star network method, is suggested accounts. In the top right corner, there's a button that looks something like this. This is like one small human figure, and then there is a plus next to it. And when you press on that button, you'll see Instagram providing you with other people who are literally the same as the person you're currently on. Literally the same personal brand as you're currently on, reaching out to him. Because that's how algorithm works. If you're on a fitness coach's page and then you press that suggested account, a suggested button, then you'll literally get a list of 20 more fitness coaches that you can reach out to. And guess what? With each and every single one of these people that you find, that you come across to, you can repeat this entire process. And look, from one person that you found in, let's say, business niche, from him, you can find 10 more people. And from all these 10 other people, you can find 10 more. And that's 100. And from all those 100, you can find 10 more. That's 1,000. And it never ends, because everyone follows everyone. That's the thing. We all have so many mutuals, but you just need to find yourself actually in that gold mine. You need to find a gold. You need to struck a gold mine to be able to keep extracting more. And that's the beautiful side of things. And when you find all those people, you need to send them a message. I know this looks messy as fuck, super autistic as well, but you need to send them a message no matter how uncomfortable you might feel, because you just need to create an opener. You see, you remember how I earlier mentioned that outbound setters are the ones who initiate the conversation by sending these openers. Where is it? Wait, opener. Here. I said here, opener. You need to create an opener that's gonna attract the attention, that's going to trigger curiosity. And this is what I'm going to help you understand: how to create an opener and how to send it, and how to constantly be getting these replies. It's actually not that hard. So the same way we have red flag businesses and green flag businesses, in this example of creating an opener, we have some green flags and red flags that you want to avoid or double down onto. You know, when it comes to green flags, you don't want to, in your opener, be robotic. You don't want to stay the. So let's go one by one. You don't want to state the obvious. You don't want to be too likable. You don't want to try to be too likable like a little bitch. You don't want to be generic. You don't want to copy other people because you want, for your openers and for yourself to show personality. Because at the end of the day, we all work with people that we kind of love spending time around. We all want to be friends in a way. We don't want to feel weird being surrounded with someone who's just making us feel uncomfortable and unpleasant. And those are the things you want to avoid in your opener. And I'm going to show you exactly how the bad openers look like. Hey Chris, I just came across your page and I'm really impressed with how your branding is. I noticed that you have IG business. How is that going for you? You see, hey Chris, too robotic. Like, bro, these are not the emails. It's a social media channel that you're using to reach out to me. You can just be, hey bro. You can literally use these. Hello, you see? Hey, yo, you can genuinely use that because we're all friends. I just came across your page. You're stating the obvious. No shit. You came across my page. I'm really impressed with how your branding is. Are you really? Or are you just trying to sell me? I noticed that you have IG business. No shit, bro. Like, oh shit, I didn't know I have an IG business. Of course I do. How's that going for you? A generic question. So all these messages that I received right here, and here are the biggest piece of garbage I've seen. And people are sending it nowadays. Unfortunate thing, but honestly fortunate for you, is that 99% of the people are sending this exact crappy message that, let's pause for a second. If I reached out to you with such a thing, you'd wonder like, what the fuck does this random stranger want from me? Is he trying to sell me something, get my money? Yes, you would think so, because that's literally what we all think. And that's why these messages are so terrible. But the reason I said you are fortunate is because top 1% of people are not sending that, and I'm sure that you want to be there. You want to actually put your brain power into these openers and create something unique, something that's you know, not generic, that's not copying other people, because it's so easy for the opener to get saturated. Even if you send it to 100 people, it's a bit saturated because all these 100 people can actually steal it from you. And now you have less chances of getting a reply. Just to kind of help you understand, this is a second message. Your recent reel is so true, man. This is some quality content. Generic. All of your branding is spot on. Why are you giving so many compliments? Why are you trying to be too likable? Just curious, how much does your program cost? To be fair, that question is even good. But that's not the point. I just wanted for you to see how some bad openers look like. And on the other hand, these are the tips that I have for you to actually create a good opener. Be creative. Come up with something that no one's ever said, that triggers curiosity. That's the crucial part. Trigger curiosity with your opener, because when you trigger curiosity, then you are guaranteed to have a reply. Why? Because think about it. I always like to think about it from the psychological side of things. uh, we are all humans, and no matter how much money we're making, we have emotions. And if you trigger my emotions, if you make me curious, I want to hear more. And I'm curious to hear what the fuck do you have to say more about it. That's why you need to be creative and trigger curiosity. But how to trigger it? By asking a question. You always should finish your opener with a question, which is exactly why I said that this question right here is not even that terrible, to be honest. Even though it is, but not that terrible. Not as terrible as other ones I've seen. Finish with a question, because with no question, there's no reason for your prospect to even reply to you. Why would he reply if there's only a statement that you reached out to him with? He can just like a message or ignore you, and that's it. You know. Third, have a common ground. Or in other words, give them a strong, super strong reason for why you're messaging them. You know, I'm gonna show you some examples. And then when you come up with those openers, you split test. You split test. What does split test even mean? You send one opener to, let's say, 50 people. This is how split testing looks like precisely. You send opener number one to 50 people. You get 5 replies. That's 10% reply rate. R stands for reply rate. Then you send a new opener that you came up with, send it to 50 people, but this time you get 7 replies, which is around 13%. Guess what? Opener number one works better, which means that you should focus on it. You split tested it, tested both of these, and you came to a conclusion that opener number two works better. So forget about the first one and focus about on the second one. And guess what you can do? You can split test even more. come up with 2.0 and 3.0 versions of it. Let's say you come up with 2.0 version of it, you send it to 50 more people, this time you get 15%. With 3.0 version, you come up with a 10% reply rate. Same thing. Forget about it, focus on this one, and test more. That's how you split test, and that's how you always improve your game. Because what's crucial, this is the main goal of you sending these openers. The main goal of your opener is to go from DM requests to their primary DMs. Why? Because when you go from their DM request, when they accept you in their primary inbox, for every other message that you send, they get a notification. And now you're actively talking. And in order to make these great openers that are gonna get you from DM request to primary inbox, you need to also emphasize on conditional language, which puts the pressure off of the prospects completely. You know, it just puts the pressure off of the prospect completely because it kinda it's conditional. I mean, might, maybe, possibly, or potentially, opposed. Those are the things that you want to implement in your openers, and I'm gonna show you exactly what does that mean. Because in this kinda good but still bad opener, such as "Hi bro, just saw your recent reel and I thought," sometimes it's very funny how easy it is to make people watch some random video to go viral. By the way, is that your main focus right now, or do you work on other stuff too? The idea behind this opener is good, but the execution isn't. So execution should be way, way better. That's why I said it here. Idea is kind of fine. That's why I marked it with a yellow color, but execution is absolutely terrible. Because this is how a good slash solid opener looks like. Would you possibly know anyone who might be looking for some commission-based setters ready to violate their calendars? LOL. You know, this is a good opener. You're confident, you're finishing with a question, you're straight to the point, not wasting their time. It's a direct opener, it looks short, and you have a strong reason for messaging them. And also, it's a no brainer because you're a commission based setter ready to violate their calendars, the calendars of your clients, right? Because that's how they sell, once again. And you're asking a question that can be answered with yes or no because you just want that reply. Like I've said, you just want that reply and get removed from them, their requests to their primary, as opposed to this one where it's long, generic. The question is kind of not taking you anywhere. It's spelling and grammar as well, which is crucial here. Spelling and grammar, it's weak as fuck. You see, lowercase I right here, and also the sense of this entire message like doesn't make any sense, honestly. Just saw a recent reel and I thought, sometimes it's very funny how easy is to make. Oh yeah, and it is missing. How easy it is to make people watch some random video to go viral. Laughing emoji, which is kind of geeky. By the way, is that your main focus right now, or do you work on other stuff too? What does that have to do with anything? This opener is not right, and that's why something like this is good. And that, based of this example right here, you can just come up with some other versions, such as, I don't know, uh, instead of "Would you possibly know anyone who might be looking for some comms-based setters ready to validate their calendars?" Lol. You can be like, "Yo, bro, would you or yo, bro, how would you feel about having a killer setter ready to stack your calendar with qualified leads?" Something like that. The thing is that volume negates luck. I want to kind of make this point, which is extremely important. Volume, volume negates luck. Because if you target businesses every single day, it's inevitable for you to sign a client and find yourself in a position where you're working with a business making 20, 30K a month. I'm going to explain why, because this is exactly what you need to do. These are your tasks. We're nowhere near the end of this video, but this is definitely what you need to do. This is how your daily schedule should be looking like from now on until forever, literally. Number one, create 3 openers. Create 3 openers based on these instructions I've given you. Start, wait, let me just do this. Create 3 openers, that's your number one thing. Second, send, track, and improve. Start sending them, start split testing to see which one of these 3 is gonna be having the best reply rate, and then based on the data, improve. And keep testing more. And then from there, test even more. That's the second step of your daily task. Third one is send these openers at least 50 to 100 times a day. So you absolutely need to send 50 to 100 DMs every single day. No questions asked. How? by using 5-star network method that we covered to find these people. And that's how you never kind of run out of these leads that you can send this message to. That's how you do it. And from there, once you do it, you just do it every single day. And that's it. Do it every single day, because think about it. If you send 50 to 100 messages every single day, no excuses, times 7 days in a week, we get what? 350 up to 700 businesses that you actively reached out to in one single week, times 4 weeks in a month. I don't even have to do the math. You see, we're talking about few thousands. But what's even more beautiful, if we get only 10% reply rate, that's literally 35 to 70 businesses that you can talk with, actively talk with. And you need only one to make 3 to 5K a month. You need only one business to make 3 to 5K a month. And that's the second stage. How to actually get started, how to find the accounts, how to come up with the opener, and how to reach out to them. This is genuinely what you need to do. And then when you get a reply, this is what you need to implement in order to show yourself as the right fit for their business, as the right addition in their team. This is generally what you need to do. First and foremost, you can't show that you're desperate and needy. No matter how broke you might feel right now, you should never show those needs, that desperate vibe in the DMs. You should absolutely act as it's just another day in the office for you. Let's say you reach out with an opener with something like, "Hey bro, would you be down to hire a killer setter?" And he says, "Yeah, talk to me." You should absolutely keep it casual and act as it's just another day in the office, instead of being like, "All right, bro, so this is what I do for you. I can book you calls, I can log in your account, I can do everything for you. You don't have to move a finger. I'm gonna do this, this, and this." Why the fuck you so like fired up? Like, bro, calm down. Just another day in the office. Show the confidence. Speak like a man with your chest up. See these things that I marked: confidence, conviction, energy, calm, and professional. Because even though you've never done the job, you can generally gaslight yourself into thinking that you're the best guy ever. That's exactly what I've done. I've created like an alter ego. When I was making zero, in my mind, I was acting like I'm making 5K a month already. I was genuinely gaslighting myself into thinking I'm already making money. I was almost manifesting it. And people would think, "Oh shit, this guy is so successful." When in reality, I was broke as fuck. I can't lie, I was broke as fuck. And also I was thinking about this fact right here, supply and demand issue. I'm the prize. They're not the prize. If they reject me, which of course I've had so many rejections, I can just move on because there's someone else who needs me. You know, I'm always the prize. In my subconscious mind, I was always the prize and I still am. Even when someone rejects me, I'm the prize still. I'm not the one gonna chase them. I'm gonna show them that they can't do it without me, especially in appointment setting space where, like I've said already, supply and demand issue is huge. More people need killer setters than there are actual killer setters out there. And when you start engaging in a combo, when you start being confident, convincing, energetic, calm, and professional as well, when you start gaslighting yourself into success, you just do these few things. You first need to connect with them. You need to gain intel about their business. You need to learn all the ins and outs, whether they need outbound setters, inbound setters, and stuff. You need to find a problem, and then you need this find a problem is third part, and the fourth part is providing or presenting yourself as a solution. You need to provide them solution, which is, guess who? Bro, it's fucking you. You're the G. You're the one providing the solution. But how to do this? You need to come up with the proper structure first, because this is how I imagine it. I know, once again, probably looks super autistic, but it's actually not that hard. Questions is the way to go. You should always ask questions, because how else are you going to gain intel about their business if not by asking questions? You need to ask questions. You need to ask them, "All right, bro, so who's doing your outbounds? How many calls are you having per day with it?" I mean, you always attach a number because numbers are infinite. You can ask them, "How much money are you making? How many calls are you booking? Oh, do you feel it can be better?" Because of course it can. Like I've said, numbers are infinite. Ask questions. Do they need inbounds? Like, how many inbounds are you having per day? Are you running paid ads? Are you running any organic campaigns? Maybe posting three videos a day? These are the questions, open-ended ones. Do you handle all the sales yourself or have a team? Not good, because it's a close-ended question. It can be just this or that. But instead, you just ask, how do you usually book calls right now? Open-ended question, because it cannot be answered with a yes or no. The person will need to expand. And then the more the person expands on, the more things you have to work with. You know? Example, do you have someone qualifying your inbound leads? Yeah, I do. Now you're stuck. How do you currently generate qualified leads for yourself? You see how open-ended that is. Oh, I generated through a setter that's doing call over campaign that's maybe handling my inbounds that come here as well. Now you have more things to work with because you asked a right and targeted open-ended question. Because this is how it goes. This is genuinely how I imagine it. You can always see me posting these, illustrating these red and green sorts of ways. Red flag, green flag. In a terrible conversation that you can have with a prospect, this right here is you, this right here is the prospect. And this road right here is the conversing process that you can, kind of imagine like you and prospect just taking a walk. These numbers are checkpoints. Question number one, question number two, question number three, question number four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Bro, get so long. Your walk is too long. And your end destination right here, your destination at the end should be to book a call with him where you're gonna sell yourself. Because the thing is, as a setter, understand this. How can you promise to someone that you're gonna book the calls on his behalf if you don't know how to book the calls for yourself? You need to do what? Practice what you preach. So you need to be good at setting the appointments for yourself first before you actually set appointments for someone else. Practice what you preach. And if your questions are long and boring, if you're not asking right and targeted questions such as these ones that I gave an example of, number 2 and number 4, then you just drag it too long. You risk being put at the friend zone, you risk of being getting ghosted, left unseen. And at the end of the day, businesses that you're targeting, you gotta understand, they're extremely busy. They don't have time to talk with you endlessly. You're their time waster. You're wasting their time. Why would you do so? You're wasting their brain power. Why would you do so? They would rather just leave the combo, leave you unseen, and move on because you showed your desperate needs, and you just drag it for too long. It's not smooth. The road is curvy. The walk is kind of thorny. It's terrible. While on the other hand, right here, with right and targeted questions, you see, once again, you and your prospect, you ask a question number one. Let me actually use a different color. You ask question number one, number two, number three, four, five, six, seven, and look how straightforward the road is. The walk is nice, smooth. There's a breeze outside. You're just chilling, casual, nice summer walk. It's smooth, and you build a good relationship with him. Because when you ask right and targeted questions, they will know you, they'll start knowing you more, they'll start liking you more, they'll start trusting you more because you showed a genuine interest in their situation. How do you do this? What do you feel is being is has been the problem? What do you feel this? What do you feel that? Emotions. Show emotion. Show them that you truly care. Ask them about pain, goal, desire, these things. This is what 99.9% of the people are missing out on because they're too selfish and boring, and they don't kind of understand that the businesses are busy. You also got to understand that you get what you deserve in this space. You get what you give. If you're a terrible salesman, if you're a terrible communicator, then you're gonna kind of get such a terrible communicator back. They're not gonna respect you. They're only going to respect you if you respect them, if you respect their time. And that's exactly why my openers that I've showed you in the previous one, right here, are so straight to the point. Would you possibly know anyone who might be looking for some comms-based setters ready to validate their calendars? I'm straight to the point. I'm not wasting their time with things such as your content is sick, bro. I love it. Who you're trying to fool? I ain't the fool. And then at the end of that conversing process, we have a transition point where you just need to book a call. You know, actively listen. Actively listen. That's the crucial part. That's the whole point of you taking a walk with your prospect. Actively listening to them and showing that you care. Got it, makes sense. Best thing is to jump on a quick call so we can go deeper. Does that sound fair enough? Happy to explain, but it'll be easier if I walk you through on a call. What's your availability? Two examples. Sounds good. I definitely feel I can help you with, and then reinstate the goal or pain. Would you be open for a quick 15 minutes chat so we can discuss more about it? You know, those things. Those things are the ones that you need to implement, because how else can you actually build your way up in their DMs? Show them that you're the real guy, show them that you're the real solution to their problems, if not by engaging in a friendly, light-hearted, non-formal way. How else, you know? And this is exactly how. I mean, navigate the call with open-ended questions. This is a topic that I wanted to expand on a bit more, just so you can get a bit more understanding, because it's not so complicated. We split it, or we kind of create three different things. Number one, number two, number three. Why open-ended questions? Simply because, once again, they can't be answered with a yes or no. They can't. Second, you're making them comfortable in your environment. You're showing a genuine interest in their stuff. How do you feel this? How do you feel that? You know, you're building your way up. It's literally like a video game. How the fuck do you plan on completing level 5 if you have never completed level 2 beforehand? Do you get me? How are you planning on doing so? You can't. And that's why you need to build your way up. Ask less intrusive questions first, and then move on to the more intrusive ones. That's why things such as, yo, bro, how much are you making? That's why it doesn't work, because it's too intrusive. No one's gonna tell that to a random stranger. You build your way up. And at the end of the day, bro, you need to understand how to do that job for yourself, because remember what I said, practice what you preach. If you don't learn, if you don't kind of master such a craft of asking right and targeted questions that are open-ended, how are you going to handle his prospects? And remember, his prospects cost, you know, he is putting his money to get these leads in his pipeline, and you're the one supposed to convert them. If you don't convert them, you're terrible at setting, and you're wasting him money. Not only, once again, not only that you're not making him money, but you're losing so much cash on his behalf, and probably giving it to a competitors as well. These are the examples of questions. Yo, genuinely curious, how are you currently booking your sales calls? Genuinely wondering, what's been your biggest bottleneck with lead flow? Just curious, what's your process for handling inbound/outbound leads right now? Just wondering, what's your vision for the next 6 months? You know, these are the things that you can include, because it shows that you genuinely care, you know, and the questions are open-ended. Open-ended questions. And by the way, pro tip, you can just add, tell me more about that after their answers, just to dig deeper, because you always want to dig deeper and show them that you genuinely care. And then this is extremely important, and this is what you implement in clients work too. When every single answer With every single answer that they give you, you need to implement this part. I call it ACA formula. It stands for acknowledge, compliment, ask. Let's say you ask them, just curious, how are you currently booking your sales calls? And then they say, oh, I'm booking them. I'm booking them myself. I'm running paid ads, and I just like to meet the person before I hop on for a call with them. And then you'll be like, sounds good, bro. That's an acknowledgement. Sounds good, bro. Amazing. Gotcha. Sounds awesome. I understand. Then you give them a compliment. To be fair, I really like the way you do it, because, it's kind of unique. Just a compliment. And then you ask a question further. All right, so tell me more about how many calls have you been booking by doing so? You see, just dig and dig deeper. That's how you build that relationship. And then when you ask 6 or 7 questions with the framework that I've said earlier, you should kind of create with the structure, when you do so, you just transition. The more direct you are due to their busyness, the more respect you gain. And of course, when you transition with such a thing right here, hop on a call this, hop on a call that, I can help you with this, I can help you with that, you just book an interview. And this is crucial. Here and there also, with your transition, you want to implement conditional language too, the same way you did with the openers, such as, all right, I definitely feel I might be able to help you. I might be able to help you. So would you actually be down to potentially hop on a call with me, just so we can discuss it a bit more? Potentially, possibly, these kinds of things actually help. And then when it comes to the last part, it's all about booking that interview. It's absolutely crucial, bro. It's absolutely fucking crucial. You need to hop on that interview like a fucking man. You need to show up there and show them that you're the right person for that job. There are crucial things when you hop on an interview. It's a first impression that you need to build. Most important thing when you hop on that interview is first impression, because this is the first time they're actually meeting you. And these are the things you need to implement. To prepare for your interview or to prepare for your sales call, you need to come up with a list of questions. You need to actually come up with the list of questions that you're going to ask, because remember, the person asking questions is the one in control of the combo. And you always want to be in control, because at the end of the day, by asking questions, you genuinely want to see if you two would be a good fit to work together. That's the only way you can find out. That's the only way for you to find out, by asking right and targeted questions. Because when you genuinely remove the idea of selling and implement the idea of just saying, would you guys truly be a good fit, then the whole conversation shifts. You gotta understand that energy in this entire space is transferable. Energy is transferable. I don't know why, I don't know how, but even through the screen, we can sense the energy. We can just sense the energy. I hope I didn't misspelled it. Energy is transferable. And when you show your, genuine curiosity, curiousness, or whatever the words are about their business, they'll respect you more. And how to actually spread that message out, how to speak with them, you need to do these few things in order to build that very desired good first impression. You need to be, once again, confident, same as in the DM setting process. Confident, you need to be convincing, you need to be fucking convincing, because how else can you prove that you're a man? Like I've said, just be a man, be a man, show that energy that's gonna get transferred, because the more, energetic you are, the more personality you're showing, the more they're gonna like you. Why? Because they all want to be working with not weird people, with someone who is actually a decent guy. And what else? Body language. Oh yeah, absolutely, body language. Body language is absolutely crucial. Body language is so crucial that you can't even think about it. Just be a man and speak with your chest up. Speak with your chest up. Speak with your chest up. Crucial. So this is how I would just turn up on the interview. Yo, let's say I'm interviewing myself. Let's say I just applied for an interview with Chris. I'd be like, yo, Chris, what's going on? Nice to meet you, bro. Finally, nice to meet you. I had such a nice time talking with you. So yeah, may I ask, bro, like the reason I even wanted to hop on a call with you is just to see would we even be a good fit. I'm super confident I can actually help you, but maybe you're not even in a position, maybe you don't even need me as a setter. It seems to me like you're doing good, so talk to me. Question. How many leads do you have? An instant first impression, instant control of the convo. All right, love it. To be fair, bro, I really do love it. And how is that been going on for you so far right now? Like, why do you feel you might need me as a setter? Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, makes sense. To be fair, I really love um, how open-minded you are to a setter. I mean, what I might be able to do for you is just handle all these inbound leads on your behalf, and then you can put your brain power and your mental space can be freed up, and you can put it towards content delivering and stuff. Would you agree with me? Oh yeah, I see. And then you just navigate the combo further. This time, it's actually similar as these roads right here. Not these roads, sorry. This road, only the green one, because you want for it to actually make sense. But instead of doing it through the DMs, you just do it face to face, where you guys are meeting for the first time. And that's how you come to an agreement. And then at the end, what you want to discuss is how much is the guy charging, what's his ticket size, ticket size, and what commission is he ready to give. How much will you get? Obviously, negotiate more as much as you can. The more you negotiate, the better. But that's what you want to negotiate, because he's the one who is gonna pay you for the job that you do. All commission based, remember. And do that. And as a part of the interview, just one last detail is getting his login details. Login details. You on that interview want to hop and get logged in to his page. If he throws objections, then you handle that objection. You just handle it. You just ask a question to see what's the real reason behind their objection, and then propose. Let's say a lot of people actually feel a bit uncomfortable with giving login details to the setters that are being newly hired. And then you can be like, all right, bro, I mean, I understand. I mean, at the end of the day, we're just strangers, right? You're a stranger to me, I'm probably a stranger to you. And how would you feel about a legally binding agreement that would just kind of, uh, I'd say, contain of all the things that I'm permitted and forbidden of doing within your Instagram. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, it's in my best interest to just handle all the prospects and make money for myself because, as you know already, I'm young, hungry to prove myself with a lot of free time on my end, and I know exactly what I need to do to quit that 9 to 5, provide for my family, quit that college, whatever is it that you're actually trying to do. Uh, and you know that, you know, between myself right now and myself in like the next 3 or 4 months, there's only work that's standing in between, and I'm absolutely ready to go out there and kill it. So yeah, let me know about that contract, bro. And you see, just be confident and show them why the fuck do you want to even start working with them, because there's no cheeky intentions. You only want to get the login details, handle the prospects, book them in for a call, and make that money. And guess what? When you're there, you should get onboarded. This is not on me to actually onboard you. I can't show you because every business has its own different details. Your business owner that hired you is going to onboard you, and then from there, you're in there making money by booking these people in. But how to do the job? First, it depends on what the prospect needs. Not the prospect, but depends on what client needs. So, what his needs are. Maybe you are going to, like we established already, be an outbound setter. Outbound. Maybe you're gonna be an inbound setter. He is the one who's gonna onboard you and discuss all the details with you on the call. And obviously before the call even happens, because you wouldn't book a call if that wasn't something of your interest. And then when you're in the DMs, guess what you do? You do this entire process that we discussed earlier. Because like I've said, practice what you fucking preach, bro. Practice what you preach. Wait, where is it? You absolutely need to practice what you preach in a way where the same things that you've done to get that client, you should do that exact same thing with all the other people to get them as your clients, if that makes sense. I hope it does. And at the end, you're onboarded, bro. You're genuinely onboarded. When you go through this entire stage of, you know, conversing with your own prospect, making him interested by asking right and targeted questions, navigate the conversations. Now, in this time, it's plural. Navigate all the conversations with the prospects of your client by asking right and targeted questions that are open ended. Acknowledge, compliment, ask, make them comfortable in your and your client's environment, book them in for a call, and either closer or a client is going to close it and you just make your money. That's literally it. That's literally it. I don't know how long was this, probably an hour and a half or so, but hopefully it was helpful. A to Z, what you need to do from the very first day where you don't have a fucking clue what appointment setting is to the very last day when you're working with a client who is making you money, who is helping you print, who is closing the deals that you're booking, closing the calls that you're booking, turning them into deals. You make money, and hopefully you manage to land a good client. Make sure to do a great job, because by you doing a great job, you build a network of people who know that you're a goated guy in appointment setting space. You can get promoted in the company, be promoted into a sales team manager, and at the end of the day, maybe even start teaching people how to do these all these things that you've done yourself. Because if I want to show you how to make 5K a month, I need to make 5K a month first. Otherwise, I can't show you. Make sure to stay on your journey. This entire game is all about consistency, persistence, mental strength, and it's fully performance based. The more you work, the more you make, and competition has never been easier, to be fair, because we're surrounded with part-time savages who are just naturally gonna get flushed out of the market. You are not, because you're constantly gonna grind. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep grinding.